in this video, I am going to be talking about what I would absolutely love to see, basically my wish list for Season 4 of the finals. And the first thing is the patch notes to be more balance focused. We really didn't get a whole lot of kind of patches throughout Season 3 that actually changed up the meta at all. And for anyone that's still playing kind of World Tour instead of Terminal Attack, which I think a lot of people are, the meta is simply just still heavy. It's like heavy, RPG, and like barricades, charge and slam, and then like maybe a medium thrown in there as well. So like 2 heavies and like 1 medium with defibrillator and healing beam. And that still hasn't really changed. That's been pretty much the same for 4 seasons and 2 betas now. So like I know that lights are really strong and ranked, because it was Terminal Attack, but since we're going back to World Tour, heavy and medium is still going to be the meta again, unless stuff has changed. So I think it would be really cool to see more weapon balance changes in general. So, for example, the FCAR is a really poor weapon. It's just completely outclassed by the AKM. I think AKM kills one class faster by 0.01 seconds, and the AKM kills all of the other classes faster, headshots and body shots. So it really is just the better weapon, much higher mag size. The recoil is like a good bit easier to control, I would say. And it just kills people faster. So it really is just the better weapon. You might prefer having a scope, but next season, it's confirmed that we're getting, like, attachments, where we're getting, like, attachable sights or something like that. But that's confirmed to be something we're getting for Season 4 of the finals, and there's actually a clip in the teaser that shows an AKM with a scope on it. So the scope isn't going to be, you know, the reason that you use the FCAR anymore. It's just going to be the reload. That's really the only thing that's going to be getting people to use this gun, if it isn't changed. And the FCAR has just been really bad since they nerfed it. And there's a couple of other things like that as well, like the FAMAS. People really don't use the FAMAS a whole lot. It's just not that good. The light has the 93R, really isn't that fantastic because you've got the XP54, the M11, and the V9S all competing for that same range. And then we do also have the SH1900 and the new shotgun that the light is going to be getting is presumably a close range weapon as well. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weapons we have for close range, and the sword and the dagger and the throwing knives if you want to include those as well. So there's like a lot of weapons competing with each other, but people only really use 1 or 2 of them. They only really tend to use 1 or 2 of them. So it would be really nice to make all of the weapons kind of usable at higher levels. So it'd be nice to have the FCR be more on par with the AKM, so maybe make it do a little bit more damage, or just give it a higher mag size to make it kind of compete with the AKM a little bit more. Kind of the same with the Lewis gun and the M60. People really don't use the Lewis gun, the M60 that much, because the Lewis gun is normally just better. And there's kind of a lot of this throughout each of the different weapon categories for each different class. So having all of the weapons and all of the classes be more balanced so that any of them can be used at both low and high levels, I think would be very good. Now, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen because it hasn't really happened in 4 seasons so far, but I would definitely like if that happened. And kind of to do with that same subject, I think it would be really good for stuff to start getting buffed more than nerfed. I've been saying this since the betas, but I'm still gonna stick with that. I'm gonna die on this hill. I do think it's gonna be better to buff stuff than it would be to nerf stuff. The dome shield recently got nerfed and had the length that it kind of stayed up reduced. I think it's 6 seconds now. I might be wrong about that. But the dome shield does not last long now at all, when it already has an extremely short, low amount of HP. So you can destroy this thing in like 10 shots, or like a quarter of a mag of any weapon will very easily and very quickly get rid of the dome shield. So there's absolutely no need whatsoever to be nerfing how long it lasts for, because it's still super easy to get rid of. So that was just a nerf that didn't really make much sense. And if you keep nerfing stuff, which this game has been doing, you get a lot of weapons that just kind of feel like they're pea shooters. And that's going to be the Lewis gun and the M60 right now, unless you spend a lot of time in the practice range controlling those recoil patterns so that you can hit like every single shot as a headshot. Unless you're doing that, these really do feel like pea shooters. The AKM is still okay. The AKM can kill people fairly quickly, I would say. The CL40, that weapon needs some work. The revolver at the kind of longer ranges really kind of just sucks. There's a lot of weapons that just need to be buffed, really. So I would absolutely love to see that, and I'd like to see more buffs instead of more nerfs. And even kind of this season, the way that terminal attack was introduced and the way that kind of made lights kind of the best class, the meta, just because the game mode changed, that's not really a good thing, because light still kind of just sucks in regular game modes. If you're playing like World Tour or like any regular cash out mode, the light just simply isn't really going to be the best option. So it would be nice to see some change to that. I know they got the thing where like their HP regenerates faster, the medium regenerates normally, and the heavies regenerate slower. That's a fantastic step in the right direction to just kind of help them kind of be a little bit more usable in gunfights. So just a little, couple things like that to kind of bring the light back up to, kind of competitive levels, I think would be very, very, very good. I know they were played a lot this season, but again, that is due to terminal attack. So it would be absolutely fantastic to see this light, to see the light class just kind of buffed in general, but very, very small buffs, just kind of like that HP regeneration buff that we saw a while ago at some point during this season. And, if something is buffed too much, you can always revert it, right? But I think it's going to be better to buff things a little bit more than they should be and have them be kind of meta, and then maybe nerf it after a while, because at least it's going to keep the game fresh. Like Warzone does this. Whenever Warzone puts in a gun skin into the shop for people to buy, they deliberately make that gun overpowered for a while so that people buy the skin. Now, you can say that that's kind of, just for them to make money, but to be fair, it does also keep the game fresh, It doesn't mean that, like, this one weapon is always going to be the most powerful weapon. It's going to be like, hey, every few weeks we're going to change up the meta so that, the game feels fresh. So if the finals did something like that, you could make an argument against it as well, because obviously that wouldn't be fantastic. But the meta has literally been the same for 4 seasons and like 2 betas, maybe even 3 betas, actually. I don't know. I don't think I placed the first closed beta. No, I think I did, actually. Yeah, for 4 seasons and like 3 betas, or definitely 2 betas anyway, the meta's been exactly the same. So it really would be very nice to see some changes to that. I don't really know how you would go about that. But, maybe like buffing some guns here and there, maybe some guns that are underperforming at the higher levels. If you just buff some of those, that would be great. I think that would be very, very good. Just purely to keep the game fresh, and, if it's buffed too much, then just go ahead and nerf it back down to wherever it was before, maybe slightly more than it was before, and just kind of monitor that over the season and see how things go. If the game got to a state where every single weapon was usable at a high level, that would be fantastic. Obviously, that's going to be really hard to do, because it's definitely very difficult to balance weapons between each other, especially weapons that are similar. But a very good example of this is the XP54 and the M11. Those are 2 weapons that are like pretty usable, and they both fulfill a similar role. And even the Lewis gun and the M60, even though they're both kind of like pea shooters right now, they do kind of both fit. Like, if your aim kind of sucks and you want more mag size, the M60 is still very solid compared to the Lewis gun. So there are weapons in this game that do compete well with each other, and then there's also stuff like the 9.3R, which just doesn't, really, So if everything could kind of compete with each other for each kind of range, I think that would be absolutely fantastic, and I think it really would help to make the game just feel more fresh in general. So, just to recap, kind of buffing some stuff that needs to be buffed, balancing everything in general so that everything can kind of compete at a higher level. I don't think we've really seen any attempts at this for a while. Like, I think the 9.3R was introduced at the start of Season 4, right? But it's not that good, and I don't think it was ever really buffed at any point. So it's just kind of there, and people are very clearly just going to use the XP54 M11 or the V9S instead of it. So they introduced it at the start of the season, and then no one really used it. So I think it would be really cool to just kind of monitor stuff over the season, and if it's being underused, then just give it a little buff here and there. And also, what I actually did want to say as well was, at the start of the season, it's going to be much better to have the guns that you introduce be a little bit overpowered than it is to be kind of underpowered, like the 9.3R and like the FAMAS was this season. I would much rather have 3 new weapons that are all, like, pretty good than have 3 new weapons that are just simply not that good. and it's just going to want to make me pick the AKM again, you know? I think it would be better to have the new guns be better than the other guns in the game, even if it's just for a while, even if it's for like a couple of weeks, and then nerf it back down, just because it's going to make the game feel more fresh, and I think that would be very good. As for the attachments on the weapons, I know we're definitely getting scopes. I think it just said attachable sights. I think that was the direct quote. So I don't think we're going to be getting anything crazy like grips or magazines or anything like that. I don't know how they're going to work, but that definitely seems like a cool addition. We're going to have to find out when the season comes or whenever we get more information about it. But that definitely seems like it's very, very cool. I didn't think this game would do that, but I'm really hoping that this is going to help with like visual recoil, because if you're using something like the AKM, the visual recoil does kick up a lot as soon as you start shooting it, and it feels very unnatural. So again, if you're not spending lots of time in the practice range trying to control that recoil, or if you're just not very good at controlling the recoil, even if you practice a lot, it really just does seem like a very unnatural kind of kick to the gun. It's like super instant. There's no like kind of smoothing on the visual aspect of it at all. So if the sights helped with that, that would be incredible. That would be absolutely fantastic. And now we're just gonna get onto like the minor things that don't really have to do with balancing. I know something a lot of people want is global chat. That would be cool, so you can probably like press tab to switch between, you know, your team chat and global chat. Then also like team voice chat and global voice chat. Both of those I think would be just kind of fun, just kind of neat additions to the game. And I know a lot of people are asking for those, so I'm just going to throw those in there. I would absolutely lose my mind if Embark came up with a skin that you could change the color of. So we have a lot of the skin, we have a lot of skins in game that are really cool. Embark definitely puts a whole lot of you know, love and care into their skins that they make. They really do just quite simply make the best skins out of any game I've ever played. They really are very good. Like the Orf backpack, for example, is probably the best one I can think of. It gives you a whole, it literally gives you a whole different game you could play. But I would absolutely love it if there was a skin that you could unlock, and then you could kind of change the color palette of it, or you could like have the hood be up or have the hood be down, or maybe like roll up your sleeves on it or something like that. Like if you could just change minor things of the skins that you could have, that would be a game changer. The skins are already fantastic, and if you could just go a step further and actually change the color palette of certain skins as well, that would be incredible. I don't know if that will happen, because that probably makes it less likely for you to buy other skins if you can just kind of change the color of the one that you have. So I would understand if they didn't implement this, because, you know, it is a free game, they do need to make money, so it's kind of a little bit incentivized by them for them to not do that, because maybe it makes it less likely for you to buy other skins then, I don't know. But if there was some type of like skin that had a color palette on it, or some extra options on it, you know, like if you could have the hood up or the hood down or the cloak on or the cloak off or something like that, I think that would be very cool. Ranked matchmaking is a big one. From seasons 1 to 3 and in the betas, the ranked matchmaking for Cash Out, which is what the ranked mode is going to be next season, just simply wasn't very good. I would be in, I don't think it was Diamond, it was the one below Diamond, which I don't think was Gold. Is it Platinum? I think it's Platinum. I think I would be in Platinum, and I would get like still anyone from Silver to Diamond. And obviously if you're in Platinum and you're trying to get to Diamond, you don't really want a Silver player on your team. I think it might have actually gone even lower. But in any game from like season 3 to the betas, if you press tab and you looked at the rank that everyone had, it would literally go from like Diamond all the way down to sometimes Bronze and sometimes even unranked. So the matchmaking system really just wasn't that fantastic for the ranked game mode. So I'm really hoping that that's going to be fixed for the upcoming season and for the upcoming Cash Out ranked mode. I think that would be very, very good if that was fixed. It doesn't have to be like super strict matchmaking, because you probably would be in queues for quite a long time then. But even if it's just like one above and one below, so if you're in like Plat, then you can pair with like a Diamond player or a Gold player. That's better than being able to be paired with like anyone, you know? So yeah, seeing how they handle the ranked matchmaking is going to be interesting, and I would definitely like if that all kind of just got sorted out, really. So I don't really know how to explain this one, but I think it would be cool to have a new thing on the map. So like we have like zip lines and jump pads, and we have like the vents, which kind of like the lights can go underneath, but the lights and mediums can go underneath, but the heavies can't. I think it would be cool to have something similar to that on some of the maps, like you know the way there's the gateway in the game right now for the light, one of their gadgets. If there was like a portal on the map that you could use, and it would always teleport between like point A and point B for like fast travel between areas of the map. Not necessarily that, but just like something new on the map, I think would be cool. Like, you know, something similar to a jump pad or a zip line for movement, or something similar to the vents to kind of like change up how you can play in the arena, because like the lights and mediums can go through but the heavies can't. So, you know, something that kind of like changes up the kind of aspect of each of the different classes, like something the lights can use to their advantage versus how the heavies can't, or something like the zipline and the jump pads where it's just like an extra thing that you can kind of use in game. It's a little bit hard to explain, but just to see a kind of like new object or a new kind of asset on the map that people could use to play around with, I think that would be cool. I don't think that's going to happen. Nothing was really shown in the teaser for the new map, which definitely makes me think that it's not going to be a thing. But I am going to say it regardless, because this is my wish list, and I don't think a lot of the things I've said here are going to happen, but I think it would be cool if it did. Now, I definitely don't think this is going to happen, but if there was some way for you to be able to make your own skins, that would be very cool. If you could like paint on your guns, that would be insane. And I don't think any other game would do this. I'm just saying this because Embark Studios has been absolutely fantastic with pretty much all of the skins that they've come out with. And I just think that there's a very, very slim possibility, like a 1% chance of them actually finding a way to somehow implement a thing where maybe you can like paint your own sticker or something, and then put that sticker on your gun or something like that. So being able to like paint something yourself and then have that like go onto your skin somehow, be it a weapon skin or like a skin, I think that would be very cool. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I think it would be cool. On that topic, if we also had the ability to kind of put multiple skins on weapons, multiple stickers on weapons, I think that would be very cool. So right now you can only put one sticker on each weapon. But if there are like, it's actually kind of like Warzone does this, and I think other games too, but if there are actually places where you could put other stickers, like in Warzone there's 3 places you can put the stickers, so you can have 3 stickers on each weapon. So if the finals did that, that would also just be a nice touch I'd like to see, because there are a couple of stickers I like quite a lot, but I only have room for one, which is a little bit annoying. So if that were implemented and you could just put more stickers on the weapon, I think that would be cool. And with each season, they normally add an extra rank to all of the weapons. So like you can level up your weapons and your gadgets, and each time you level it up until level 7, you get a new skin for it. And the season 4 new skin for each of the weapons is like a pink and black kind of tiger stripe, and it just doesn't really look that cool. I think most people would agree. And this is probably asking for a lot, but if we could get something like actually pretty awesome. Oh no, sorry. The reward for leveling up your gun this season up to rank 8 is black, and it's got like kind of little black polka dots on it. It is much cooler than the rank 7. Rank 8 is cooler than rank 7. But what I was gonna say is if rank 9 was like a little bit cooler and maybe like a little bit animated or something, that would be cool. Just so that you can get like a skin via kind of hard work and leveling up your weapon and getting that weapon XP. If you could actually like unlock a skin that was like as cool as the skins you see in the shop, if that makes sense, then I think that would be cool. The rank 8 skin is cool, I will say that, but if it was like a little bit cooler and a little bit kind of on par with what we actually got in the shop, like some type of animated skin or some type of like super unique skin, I think that would be cool. And it would also kind of make players want to level up each kind of different weapon, I would say as well. I don't know when vehicles are going to be coming to the game, and I think the last bit of information we had about vehicles was that someone on the Discord, someone from Embark on the Discord said something along the lines of, we are still planning to implement vehicles, but once they work with the physics. And I don't know if that's still going on behind the scenes. I don't know if they're still trying to make the vehicles work with the physics. I don't know if that's happening. But if we did have the vehicles, then having some type of kind of, even if we don't have the vehicles, forget the vehicles for a second, even if, like, another thing I would like to see is kind of a mid-season patch. As far as I'm aware, we haven't really got that yet, and even if we did, it wasn't like a significant patch. It would be really cool to have like a mid-season patch that was actually significant, that actually changed things up a lot. I know Warzone does this. Warzone does like Season 4, and then Season 4 Reloaded, and so on. It will have like a big mid-season patch that kind of changes up a lot of the weapons and stuff. So if we had something like that, that would be cool, just to keep the game fresh, because I think the events and stuff definitely help people to stay in. Like, all the events Embark do definitely help people to stay in the game. But, you know, actually keeping the game fresh is kind of a different thing from just adding a new skin that you have to complete challenges for, you know? If you actually, like, change up the weapons and make the game fresh, I think that would really help it, and that's not something that Embark has really done yet. I think the most the weapons got changed was in the betas and at the start of Season 1 when they were kind of nerfing the nukes and the snukes a lot. Maybe at the start of Season 2 that might have been as well. But there's never really been a time where a lot of the weapons get a lot of attention in kind of a short time span, or like in all-in-one patch. So having something like that would be awesome, and this kind of ties in with one of the first things I said, where it'd be really cool if a lot of the weapons got changed at the start of Season 1. So if they, at the start of Season 4 rather, so if the weapons did get changed at the start of Season 4, and then maybe they were, you know, too strong or too weak, then having like a mid-season patch that kind of reverted them back to being weak or strong again, then I think that would be cool. I just think keeping the game fresh is going to be a good thing to do. And I think that this season, if all that goes well, I think this season is going to be pretty big for the game. I'll probably make another video talking about that, maybe. But I think Season 4 could definitely be pretty big. Because when this game launched, it had a lot of cheaters, and a lot of people didn't like the nukes. That was the problem in Season 1. Season 2, I think, still had nukes and stuff in it. Season 3 was just exactly the same as... the kind of middle and end of Season 2 was exactly the same as Season 1 and the beta, so there wasn't much kind of reason for people to come back in and play the game. And then Season 3 was Terminal Attack, which kind of, you know, just kind of flunked because Terminal Attack, nobody likes it. I know Nexon probably had a say in that, and I know they were probably trying to get people to hop in on their game, but the finals just isn't supposed to be, you know, CSGO. But Season 4, Terminal Attack is going, so a lot of people like that. I like that. That's why I'm kind of making videos on the finals again, because I'm like, I'm ready for Season 4. So Terminal Attack is going. That's good. Ranked Cash Out is coming back. That's great. If the ranked matchmaking works in that, that's going to be huge. And then if we actually get some weapon balance changes and all of the classes feel good to play, and it feels like you can, you know, win a fight, you can win a 1v1 with each class against any of the other classes, if all of the classes get to that point, which right now I don't think they are at, they kind of are, but not really. Like, if there are 3 lights and you're 3v3ing 3 heavies, you're just not going to win that game. That kind of is the point that the game is at. So if it was made so that all of the lights all of the classes rather kind of felt fair and balanced, which they haven't really, I think that's a bit of why Terminal Attack was introduced as well. I think the devs kind of knew that lights were going to be strong, and that kind of made the game feel fresh for a while. To be fair, I did play a good bit of Terminal Attack at the start of the season, so it did kind of work. It just didn't grab my attention enough, but that's because Terminal Attack itself just isn't a very good game mode. But if all of the classes feel more balanced somehow, like maybe if Light gets another tiny kind of HP regen buff, or maybe they get like HP on hit, or something like that. Maybe that's overkill, I don't know. But if Lights get something to buff them, and then Medium and Heavy just kind of stay how they are, that's going to be huge. We're going to have like an actual balanced game, which we haven't really had before, because like Nukes was a thing, then Terminal Attack was a thing where Lights just dominated, and then like mid-season 2 and end of season 2, medium and heavy was just the meta. So there's never been a point in the game where all three classes were kind of on par with each other. So if we actually got that in season 4, and the ranked matchmaking works, and there's new guns that are fresh, and the current weapons are kind of changed up a bit to make it feel fresh, this season could be huge. The finals could actually finally get its break. Because I have absolutely no doubt that this game is like 1,000,000 times better than something like Warzone, which I keep comparing it to. Warzone, just to say to anyone that doesn't know, is an absolute mess. You know, if you're on PC and using mouse and keyboard, you just can't compete in that game. Like, if you literally go and look at the tournaments, it's only controller players that are playing because the aim assist is absolutely broken on it. You also have to launch like 4-5 launchers before you launch the game. It's just crazy. I know, I think the new Black Ops game actually had some hype around it because the movement was new and different, but it's really just not a good game, and the finals is like actually a genuinely fresh take on the FPS genre that the developers have very clearly put a lot of work into, and they're still continuing to do so even after Nexon kind of, you know, nudged them in the direction of terminal attack to make it similar to other games, and probably Rainbow Six Siege, which was getting a lot of attention at the time. But season 4 could be really big. Everyone's getting the game mode back that everyone wanted throughout all of season 4. No one really wanted terminal attack, at least as far as I'm aware. So we're getting the game mode we want back. And if the game is made fresh with the balancing changes of the weapons and the classes, season 4 could be a really big deal. So yeah, I mean, I'm hyped for season 4. I might make another video talking about kind of how big it could be. I don't know, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see how I feel about that. But yeah, there you go. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be it for this video. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Farewell.